The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great episode for us today and a great guest, but first and foremost, I have to get these new sponsors in here, and that is Buddy's Beard Care. Buddy's Beard Care provides premium men's grooming products at an affordable price. Products are made right here in Ohio, and Buddy's Beard Care supports local. The majority of their supplies are from other Ohio-based companies. You can find them on social media at Buddy's Beard Care or online at www.buddysbeardcare.com. Use the promo code BONO15 and you will save yourself 15%. I have actually been using these products since the beginning of the year. They are phenomenal. My beard has never grown faster. It has never felt healthier, and according to my wife, has never felt softer. Once again, buddysbeardcare.com. Also, from former guest of the show, Matt Landowski, brings you Sweet Hands Sports. Elevate your game with Sweet Hands Sports. Our sports gloves are designed for champions, providing ultimate grip and durability. Achieve greatness with every match. Choose Sweet Hands Sports for the winning edge. Grip your victory at sweethandsports.com. Use the promo code BONO10 and you will save 10%. These are not just batting gloves for baseball. They have actually just started golf gloves. Lando was nice enough to send me a complimentary pair of golf gloves. I've used them. They are so comfortable, so durable, and they haven't helped my golf game, unfortunately. No, I don't think anything can help my golf game, but sweethandsports.com, promo code BONO10. All that being said, my guest today is a former softball player at Notre Dame College, and she's coming to us. I believe she's still up in the Cleveland area. Madison Olszewski joins the show. Madison, thank you for joining.
Of course. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on. So first and foremost, for everyone out there, tell everyone where you're from originally, and other than Notre Dame, where'd you go to school and all that?
So I'm originally from the west side of Cleveland, from Elyria. I went to Elyria High School, so that was pretty awesome. And then for college, I actually started at a different university called Cedarville University, and then I transferred into Notre Dame.
Okay. So why the transfer?
Oh, oh, well, there was a lot of factors. Mainly, I'll just say it. It was a very religious college. Cedarville is a Baptist college. It was a little more strict than I expected it to be. When you go to college, your idea is is freedom, and it's having fun, and it's drinking and going to parties and waking up and being tired and going to class, and wearing sweatpants. But unfortunately, everything that I just listed is everything that school was not. So, I there was a dress code, there was mandatory chapel every single day of the week. Just I would have actually graduated that school if I had graduated from that school with a minor in Bible studies. So I would have taken a lot of classes.
Wow, yeah, I had a transfer too. The dress code alone. There was times. I mean, I basically rolled right out of bed in college and showed up to class.
Oh yeah.
There was times. There was one time I'll never forget it. I showed up and somebody asked me, "Are you wearing two different shoes? Not even two different socks. Are you wearing two different shoes?" It's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, that happened. It was a rough night the night before, but you live and you learn. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think colleges, and I understand being a religious based college and everything like that, having some things in there, but to be that strict, there's another one back near where I grew up, Franciscan University.
Okay.
Like they don't even have co-ed dorms.
Yes, we didn't either.
It's male dorms, female dorms,
Yep.
and there were room checks at like 9 o'clock at night, and if you had somebody from the opposite sex there, like they were forced to leave. Like it's like 9 o'clock. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little early, but for college. But yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah, we even we had a curfew, and it was, I believe, weekdays was, get this, 10 p.m. And weekends you actually got till midnight. And the worst part about it was your curfew. If you were past curfew by an hour, it was $50 to the college. Yeah. Yep. Every hour, and it stacked upon each other.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So most
Yeah.
kids just got to the point where they would actually sleep in their cars if they were past curfew.
Yeah. There's no way I'm showing back up. No,
Yeah, no.
I'll pay $50 because I was late.
Yeah.
No.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I previously said, you eventually attended Notre Dame College and you played softball there. What was it like being a college athlete? And tell us about what your in-season and out-of-season schedule was like. 'Cause I know softball's a long season. So how did you make that work for yourself?
Oh, work is it's a great word to use. People like to downplay college athletics, especially when it's below the Division I level. And I don't think they understand how many like sleepless nights we get, or how many like aches and pains. You go Division III, you go NAIA, you go junior college. I mean, these kids are working their butts off no matter what you do. So,
Yeah.
um, I, for softball at least, had, well, like you said, a very long season. We started in the fall with, normal training such as like weightlifting, practices, those sorts of things. But we also had a actual fall schedule itself. And we would play Division I colleges as scrimmages.
Okay.
So it would start there, and then after that, we'd go into our winter season, which was a lot of training, just strength and agility. And then, Notre Dame College had this great thing where we would have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and go to some indoor facility because it's Cleveland, so you can't actually go outside in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, after that mess, which was horrible, but after you get through that, then you actually get to the nitty-gritty and you get to do the fun stuff, which is actual games.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I was a swimmer in college. And you're right. People downplay sports, especially Division III at Bethany College. It was a D3 school, and a lot of people there didn't even know we had a swim team.
Oh, man.
That is, I mean, when I swam there, I was one of 4 guys on the team. So a very small men's team, obviously. It's a lot bigger now. But yeah, people downplayed my sport a lot as it is. Being a swimmer, people don't think it's that tough of a sport. It's not that grueling. There's no contact, blah, blah, blah. You get all that. And, I've told this story on here a ton of times, but I think it's my favorite story in the world. One of my buddies was a football player, and we would always rag on each other all the time about each other's sports. Well, I had enough of it one day, and I was like, all right, man, why don't you come into the pool with me, and we'll do the workout from today, and we'll see if you can get through it. And I went, I'll even do it with you. I just got done an hour ago with it. I'll do it again with you. And we got through the warm-up. And he was like huffing and puffing. He goes, oh, man, that was intense. I was like, that's the warm-up, bro. That's to get you ready for what we're about to do. And the best thing was the next day watching him like limp around campus because he had used muscles he didn't even know he had. And needless to say, he never made fun of my sport again.
Good for you.
But you're right. Swimming's a very long sport. It starts right before the actual winter season starts, and it goes all the way up until spring. We even had at Bethany, January was typically an off. We weren't in school as part of our Christmas break. Unless you were an athlete. Then they had what was called J-term. So athletes and freshmen were forced to take a J-term. They had a couple of professors there, but mainly only winter sport athletes and freshmen were on campus. We were up in the water at 6 a.m. And January in Ohio, let alone anywhere, it's cold. The water itself is already freezing as it is. And then we would go to breakfast / lunch. It's kind of in between there. And then we were back in the pool by 1 in the afternoon after going to the weight room at noon.
That's brutal.
And people, they don't see that. All they see is, well, you jump in the pool, you're a sprinter, you're in there anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. So how is that tough? Well, my workouts, I was swimming anywhere from 5 to 6 miles in a practice. And it's grueling, and people don't understand like what it's like to be a college athlete.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it gets enough credit. And like you said, even these JUCO kids, I've watched some of like it's not Hard Knocks, but it's a show on Netflix, and they show what junior college kids go through, and their class schedules, their practices, and what they have to go through. You would think they were Division I or professional with what they have to go through. It's a little bit ridiculous, but I just like shedding light on that because there's still a lot of people out there that are like, oh, well, you're only Division II or Division III. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I never, people always say like, when you get out of college, like you're going to be so busy and you're never going to have downtime and you're just going to be on the go all the time with your new job and you're doing this and you're doing that. And you know what? I feel like I've had the most amount of downtime I've ever had in my life.
I get it. Yeah, it's compared to what I was doing when I was swimming. Yeah, I have a significant amount of downtime, and I don't have that much downtime. I got a lot going on with day job, being a stand-up comedian, merchandise stores, coffee brands, finding shows, talking to promoters, podcasts, yeah, I'm pulled in 75 different directions. But compared to college athletics, having a day off a week at least, that's downtime.
Oh yeah. Getting an hour nap in. Whew.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah. We got a nap. Yeah, I didn't even know what that was in college.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. I feel like they're like, oh, college kids, you're sleeping all day, you're sleeping off your hangover, all this stuff. I'm gonna be lucky if I get a nap in today. 30 minutes max.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was no napping.
No,
At
no.
all. But you were actually, you were a part of the last graduating class at NDC as they were closing down. What was that like being a part of, the last class at Notre Dame College?
Well, I don't know if you can tell. There's some more memorabilia over there, but yeah, I love Notre Dame. Wow, that hurts my soul. It hurts my entire being that Notre Dame closed down. Um, it just has such a special place in my heart, and being there through that whole process was just, it was heart-wrenching. You had professors who, I mean, and all the professors there, even Johnny himself, who helped me get on this podcast, they were so optimistic and they were so sweet. And everyone that was working at Notre Dame was working there because they loved working with students and they loved seeing kids grow. The people who were working there, they weren't working there to make a paycheck. They weren't working there to make money. They were there because they enjoyed their time and they enjoyed the kids. And it's just really sad to see an institution like that, fall and turn into nothing. And I actually feel like a lot of the students that were at Notre Dame were very of the same mindset because of the faculty that were there, so it's sad.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Notre Dame College administrators, former athletes. Obviously, Johnny helps out with managing the show here. Good old Biddy, as I know him as. But yeah, when he told me that the college was shutting down, like at first I was like, all right, man, quit joking. Like there's no way. Like I see what you guys are doing. Like you guys are doing all these things. How is it closing down? Like that sucks. One, that an institution is closing down, but it's something that a lot of people don't see. The inside of and how that has an effect on people. And I've gotten to talk with a lot of people from there, and everyone has the same thing. It's sad. Everyone there cared. And you don't get that at every job, let alone a college or university or anything like that. So, but you did a little bit of both because you were actually a student ambassador in administration at NDC. So, what
Johnny
was
told you too much.
Yeah, he came up with that question. What was that job like, and what did you help do?
Oh, I did so much at Notre Dame. It's ridiculous. But that was part of the reason why I never had any downtime too. But so I did like tours for like potential students and answered calls and basically was just trying to be the first face that you see when you walk into Notre Dame or when you looked it up or when you called. I was trying to be that person. And it was great. I loved it. When you really love something, you want to do everything to make it that much better and to find people that have that same kind of love. And I genuinely feel like at least 90% of the people that I gave tours to or were on a phone call with have that energy that like this actually does sound like a great institution, and maybe it's small, but who cares? Like, it sounds great here. And I think that's what Notre Dame needed more of, and I think they were getting there, but just not enough time.
Sometimes it's just too little, too late. Unfortunately, I mean, not on the same level, but I experienced something like that. There was this. This is going to sound weird to even compare this to college, but there was an Anytime Fitness in Steubenville, Ohio, that they had brought me on to manage because it was kind of getting ready. They were losing money. They didn't know what to do. let's bring in a new manager. Let's see if he can do it. And if I would have had another, I'd give it a month and a half, they'd have been profitable and make money. Well, it was just it was just too little too late, and we had to shut the doors.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know that's why you guys brought me in. I know, I guess I'm sorry I couldn't do it in the time frame that you needed, but it still sucks because then I had to look all these people that I had just signed up to be a member. They're like, hey, there's one in Weirton, West Virginia that we can transfer you to. Like, I know it's not the same, but you can use anytime fitness, but your home club's going to be Weirton now. So if you need anything, you have to drive 20 minutes in the opposite direction to get to where you need to go. But yeah, it's tough. And I know it's not quite to the scale of an entire Division II college institution, but like kind of something I can relate it to in that you want to have people that have that personality that's going to bring people in. And I feel like just even the short amount of time we've been talking here, like if you were what started people's idea and the first face people saw at Notre Dame College, like I feel like that would have been a good experience. And then you bring in Johnny's energy into everything, and you can't go wrong with that combination. This one's for me. This isn't even on the outline, but did you get to work with Johnny at the college? And if so, how did you handle his energy?
Oh my goodness, Johnny. He is so funny. I feel like genuinely every day he just gave off that like super funny and unconventional uncle energy.
Yeah.
But you don't really realize it until you've been like around, I would say, like an Italian family, because Johnny is very Italian, and he lets you know. He reminds you about it. But he is such a funny guy, and I never felt so comfortable, like he made it fun. It wasn't great having to answer the phones or do all these normal office tasks, but he made it fun. He made sure we were all taken care of. He's a great guy. He's really good.
Yeah, and fun uncle. Like that's a new way of describing Johnny, but he is very Italian. As am I. So I still remember because my wife had never met him in person. Oh, excuse me. But when we went to his wedding, that was the first time that those two worlds have kind of collided. My wife, who is full Irish, and Johnny Fitty Balcony, because all she has got from him is he texts me every morning at like 6 a.m. because he knows I'm up at 6 a.m. And he calls me a couple times a day. Obviously, it's about podcasting stuff, but no, I talk to Johnny sometimes more than I talk to my wife. She even she recently started doing this, and it makes me laugh every time. Every time I get off the phone, she's like, "Is that your husband? Is that Johnny?" Yeah. But just like so, they had a quick interaction, after the ceremony and everything like that, and then we got in the car to go back to the hotel to check in and everything like that, and she was just like, "So is he like that all the time?" I was just like, yeah, that's Johnny. It's like, now do you know why you can hear him through the phone when I don't have it on speakerphone? I was like, he's a very loud Italian like me. That's why we get along. So you married a full-blooded Italian. You should know what's going on. But even at the wedding, like during the reception, during dinner, they played Italian music, like
Yeah.
typical that you would have heard in The Godfather. And
That makes sense.
and she looked at me, she's like, "So is this like dinner music now? Is this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm used to this. This is normal." But yeah, just when those two worlds kind of collided, it was. I wish I had it on tape. Honestly, like it was the funniest interaction to me, at least, because I know Johnny and obviously my wife, but still. Just seeing those worlds collide and seeing her meet him for the first time after only hearing his voice over the phone was fantastic. It was just anybody who meets Biddy for the first time, I want to be there and just see their reaction to him because I love him to death. I've known him since college. I've known Johnny forever. But yeah, just because I remember my first interaction with him. To this day, I was sophomore in college, and I had only ever known him as Finn. I had never known his real name, and it was because I was around the rec center at swim practice, and he was there for football, and I think it was when he was recently transferring in. And somebody said, "Oh, the new guys, what's your name?" He goes, "Oh, don't you know I'm Biddy from the city?"
Oh
And
gosh.
and that is he was known as Fitty. And then we ended up having a class together. And they were like, "All right, John Falcone." Hell's John Falcone? Like I figured I would know that Italian name. Who's John Falcone? And then he said, I was like, "Wait, you mean Fitty?" Like that's so that was kind of like my first reaction was him telling one of his teammates that he is Fitty from the city, which still makes me laugh to this day, almost 12 years later. It just still makes me laugh to this day.
And if you know who he is, it makes so much sense. He has not changed. He has not changed at all.
No, and I still even remember when we reconnected after college. I was working at a car dealership, and he was just in service, and I kind of looked over, and I was like, "Did he?" And like people looked at me like, "Who? How are you just screaming out numbers?" And like it turned out it was him. Luckily, I was happy it was him and not just some random guy. But his energy was still the same, and he had been there for a while getting his car serviced. And not a place where people were normally upbeat, sitting in a body shop waiting for their car to get done. And he still was. He still had the same upbeat energy. Was just happy about life and was just happy to be where he was. And I love that about Johnny so much. And he's one of my best friends, to this day, and he's definitely a person you want to be the face of your college for sure. But all that being said, let's get back to Maddie here. Now that we had a little rant about Biddy, I believe Johnny told me you recently just got a new job after graduating from college. So what are you doing for work now? And what is it related to your studies that you got with at Notre Dame?
Yeah, so I work at this pretty large company called Ernst & Young. It's one of what they call the Big Four accounting firms. And there I work as I'll give you my technical title, a digital risk assurance. That's my technical title. But it's great. I love it so much. The company's amazing. And luckily, exactly what I do is exactly what I studied for in college. Yeah, so I got a double degree in accounting and software development, and digital risk assurance just plays ever so perfectly right into that.
You don't hear of that a lot anymore. Is people actually getting jobs in their career field being what they went to college for.
Mm-hmm.
I am a prime example of that. I have a bachelor's degree in communications and new media is what it's called, because aging myself. Social media was just really becoming a thing when I was in college. So, like, to sign up for Facebook, you needed a student ID and a student email. That's we're going to stop aging myself here. With also a track of journalism and broadcast, with a minor in management.
Wow.
I sell sheds for a living, and I'm a stand-up comedian. So I guess now that I started this podcast 4 years ago, I guess the broadcasting's starting to come into to play a little bit, but I had to start that myself. So, but yeah, so you don't really see that much. So, good for you, one. And what do you do at the, like, I know for what you can tell us, and I'm sure there's a lot of privacy with being in an accounting firm. So, what you can tell us, kind of like what a day-to-day looks like. You don't have to worry about your cat jumping up. I have 4. I'm surprised they haven't jumped up yet, so you're fine.
So essentially, other companies pay my company a ungodly amount of money to have people like me go out to their company and yes, thank you. To go out to their company and just make sure that like their technology records are in compliance with like accounting regulations and that everything just kind of makes sense. And I actually had an internship there my junior going into senior year. And it was amazing. I worked for a couple different companies, bigger companies, and going to other like companies' buildings were like beautiful. I mean, it's all glass, and you get this discount and this discount because you work for the company, and oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. And even my company, just because it is so large and they just make so much money. Like they paid for my gas and they paid for my Wi-Fi and my phone bill and any food I got while I was out like at a client site. So let's just say I won the lottery of jobs.
Absolutely. The gas alone anymore is ridiculous. Like, I don't even want to.
Yeah, but I mean, it does come with its drawbacks of what they call a busy season, where I could be potentially working up to 80, maybe even like 100-hour work weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, obviously, but sounds like your pros are really outweighing the cons there.
Yeah.
And good for you, and congratulations on that for sure. Yeah, I wish I had somebody that was paying for my gas, like $100 a week just for me to get back and forth to work, and that's not doing any running around or anything like that. But it's what I get for being a country boy from West Virginia and having to drive a pickup truck. So that's kind of really my own fault, but I don't care. Plus, I'm 6'5". I don't fit in cars, so like there's not a lot of room for me in any of these small. Well, you get 75 miles to the gallon. I'll take my 15 and be able to fit. But last thing, question here, and then we'll get into the last fun segment here of the show. But you're looking to buy your first home. Like, so how's that going now? And you being out of college and finding the adult life in. So how's it going? And looking for your first home.
Well, I know Johnny may have been the one to put that question out there because
100% his question.
I was gonna say because he was helping me look at homes during my senior year. He was helping me. So when he watches this, he will be very happy to know that I am actually buying my first home right now. I'm in it right now, actually. I'm still in South Euclid. I didn't go very far. So, but I actually, I just have an insane amount of luck in my life. But so what happened was, one of the girls on my softball team, her grandparents owned the house that I'm in right now. They still do actually. We're doing a rent to buy situation, but I'll get into that. But so they own this house, and they actually had tenants before us, a couple tenants before us, and they absolutely trashed this house. I mean, like burnt it, trash everywhere, just blatantly disgusting. And so the grandparents kicked them out and decided that they were going to fix up the house. But then their granddaughter ended up transferring to Notre Dame College. So my teammate, she ended up transferring to NDC and playing softball. And so they fixed up this house for her, and so that she could have somewhere to live other than the dorms, which was really nice for her. So they actually ended up putting about $35,000 into this home. So it actually used to be a 2-bed, 1 bath, but now it has a finished loft, 2 beds, 1 bathroom upstairs full, another bathroom downstairs full that they built, and then a completely finished basement, and they put a patio on the back. And they are still fixing things on this house. They just redid the roof on the garage. They painted the siding. I mean, they take very, very good care of this home, and they have talked to us, us being my boyfriend and I, who will be buying the home. They've told us basically that they wouldn't mind, like waiting till whenever interest rates drop, and basically they are angels. They are absolute angels for doing this, and they're not even getting what's it called, like an evaluation on the home, because I mean this home easily has gained so much in value, and they're being very generous and selling it to us for an amazing price.
Yeah, that's not a lot needs to be said after that. Like that was just no. Congratulations on that. I know what the housing market is like, and everything like that. And I've always said I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. And it seems like you have that in spades. Not that you're not good at what you do, but you have the luck part down. Like so, you're golden on that. And this is coming from somebody who, in the career choice in being a comedian as to what I want to do, you kind of have to be lucky. I mean, you can be good all you want, but if the right people don't see your material, you're never going to go past the stage that you're at. So, always say, I'd rather be lucky than good. And people are like, well, only like 200 people watched that TikTok. I was like, yes, but what if one of those 200 people was a talent agent? And they're was like, that guy, I want him.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like people are like, oh, but you're not getting millions of views on TikTok. I don't honestly don't care about that. I just need the right person to see my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm still out there looking for you guys. If you're out there listening right now, I'm available for bookings. But yeah, so like I said, we're running down near the end of the show, and always a fun way that we like to end the show. And I never tell anyone about this segment because I love to see their reaction. And this segment is the Fast 55. It is 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. They are rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to, which some of these you're going to have to need to. And Maddie, these have nothing to do with what we've been talking about for the entirety of the show. So if you're ready, we'll start the Fast 55.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
Number 1, how many states have you visited, and what are those states?
Ohio. I've been there, I think. I've been to Florida. I've been to Texas. I've been to Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, West Virginia, way too many times. Maryland, Maine, the Carolinas. Wow, this is getting to a lot of numbers. And I think there's one more. Oh, Washington State and Washington, D.C. I think that's it. And Wisconsin.
I think kind of like 20 there. Like,
yeah, I think, yeah.
With the little one-handed trying to count and make sure and try to make sure my mic doesn't fall at the same time. Yeah, I'll let the West Virginia thing slide. Big West Virginia.
Oh my gosh, West Virginia. Oh boy.
Love West Virginia. Can't wait to I want to get back there so bad. Question number 2. Who's your favorite actor and actress?
Okay. Actor? Do I have to do both actor and actress?
You can do either or. I'll give you a pass on this one.
Okay. Well, I think I'm just gonna do something simple and go for Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. I love them both. I love them together. They will never do anything wrong in my eyes.
Solid choice. Solid choice with that one. Question number 3. What is the best animal at the zoo?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like the lion, but now I own 2 cats, so maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just giant cat.
I own 4 cats, so I get it. Didn't want 4 cats. My wife wanted 4 cats. We compromised. We now have 4 cats. Yeah. So, question number 4. What's the best restaurant for Mexican food that you would recommend to somebody?
Mexican food?
These are all fitty.
I thought I told this man that I don't eat Mexican food. Let's see. Maybe that's why he picked it. I don't know. There's a really good place in like South Euclid. I don't remember what it's called, but I've been there a few times. Not really for the actual food though. I was really there for the drinks. So
that's why you go to Mexican restaurants normally.
Yeah.
That's why I go to Mexican restaurants. Question number 5. Is Dairy Queen overrated or underrated?
Ooh, absolutely overrated. Is that a hot take?
That's a hot take in my book. That's
oh wow.
I'm a sucker for a good Blizzard.
I love Dairy Queen. I think it's great. If it's the only ice cream place, absolutely I'm going to go there. But in South Euclid, Mayfield Heights area, there's East Coast Custard, which is, in my personal and maybe semi-professional opinion, the best ice cream place that I've ever had.
All right. I honestly was not expecting an overrated on the Dairy Queen, but I am a fatty at heart. Anything that's bad for you or greasy food, I'm a fan of. So could explain a lot. But that was the Fast 55. I think you took it a little easier on you than most people, and I'm starting to see a trend with his questions that he seems to go through these spurts. Where there's food, typically, which is the one he's on now. For a while, there was animals. And the third one, there was 3 that he goes through. And the third one is fighting questions, if you will. I'm sure he's asked you these. Like, all right, trapped in a racquetball court. It's you, Batman, Conor McGregor. Who comes out wins? Like, it's like that's... like some of his questions that he would ask me on a daily basis when we were at Bethany, and he still asks me to these days. Something like just these random thoughts that go through his head, and I love it. So we created a whole segment on the show based off of Biddy's random thoughts, basically. And we love it. But Maddie, like I said, we are running down near the end of the episode. I give every guest this opportunity at the end of every show. If there's anything you want to get out there, if it's just a good message, if you want to help promote the company that you work for, or that you have anything going on, I'll give you about a minute, and the floor is yours.
All right, I don't think I need a minute, but I'm thinking the only thing that I want to say is I've had some good luck in my life, but I really think the good luck in my life has come from just being a genuinely good person and wanting to see good in the world. So, if you're ever struggling and you're down on your luck, maybe try that, you know? That's it.
Hey, I always love it when people end on a good message or something like that. So I'm all for it. I love it. And that is actually going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. I wanted to thank Madison Olszewski again for joining the show. A lot of fun getting to talk to you and getting to know a little bit about your backstory and everything like that. So thank you for that. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you did. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.